we were very lucky with the purchase of this land. We had a budget of about £20,000 and we were hoping to get about 7 rye for that, a full red Chanot in the province of Nong Bulompur. Anna's just getting me a tea, a lemon tea from 7-Eleven. I drank too much coffee this morning. Dragon fruit season now. I love dragon fruits. But there seem to be a few different kinds. And I don't know if you've got any way of telling until you actually cut it open. The ones that grow on the tree in Anna's mum's house, in her garden, they're the most beautiful for me. The flesh of those is like a bright, vibrant purple colour. It stains like beetroot juice. And they're absolutely beautiful. They're more juicy and more tastier than ones with a white flesh. Okay, lazy dog. Didn't want to get out of your bed this morning, did you? Kun Maki kan mak. I've been waiting for the rain to hold off because it's just miserable trying to get jobs done when there's a mosquito in here. Killed him. Oh, goodbye. Tell your mates that's what happens when you fly around here. Death to the mosquitoes. When you're constantly in the wet and the mud, it can be quite difficult to get jobs done. So as much as it will be muddy today, but it's also sunny in the sky, so I don't mind having, you know, muddy Wellington boots as I'm fixing water pipes and things. I can deal with that because I know what to expect. I'm mentally prepared for the mud, but what I'm not mentally prepared for is the combination of mud and rain. That's a killer. So let's hope this rain stays away today. Should be okay. This is a typical banana family, if you can see. You've got the original one we planted here, which is looking quite old now, but still bearing fruit. And you've got the 2 baby ones next to them. They've just grew up on their own, you see. We didn't plant these. That's how it works. And once this fruit comes off here, it won't be very long, then this then just starts to sort of die. And then you cut it away and then same thing happens again. Every cluster of banana plants is the same. You see, the original one in the middle and then the 2 newer ones. I did a whole video about this, so I won't bore you with it again. We still need to figure out some commercial way of doing something with all these bananas that we have. I'm not interested in just trying to sell them by the bunch in a market. The money to effort ratio isn't worth it as far as I'm concerned for that. It's delicious. I need some way that we can add value to bananas and then perhaps sell them commercially, or I don't know, semi-commercially. Whether that's drying them and packaging them or making them into some sort of a dessert, and you know, rather than just selling a bunch of bananas. So if you've got any ideas, put it in the comments for me. It'd be well appreciated. I've already got some great ideas regards the rice in December. When we harvest our first crop of rice, as long as it all goes to plan and we actually have some rice, then I've got some great ideas away from the norm with that, as opposed to just selling it to wholesalers in massive 25 kilo sacks. I'll let you in on that closer to the time. I need to make sure we've actually got rice before I commit to anything like that. As you can see, this is now all rice that we planted a couple of months back. But when we first bought this land, the whole thing, there was no pond at the front, the whole thing was sugarcane, like the neighbouring land here. This is sugarcane here, look. This is a few months worth of growth. They tend to harvest this around about February time every year. So this is around about half the size it will get. It took a lot of work for us to clear this of sugarcane and the roots that sort of stay in the ground. We had to plough the land a few times over to stop that sugarcane from growing up again. We were very lucky with the purchase of this land. We'd been looking for a few months for something suitable. We had a budget of about £20,000 and we were hoping to get about 7 rye for that, a full red Shanot in the province of Nong Balampur, which is where Anna's family are from. So we had a few fixed criteria with what we were looking for. We weren't particularly looking for anywhere that was going to be off-grid. In fact, that wasn't a consideration at all originally. So because we had this budget in mind, we made sure that the money was in our Thai bank at the time, because we knew that if something came up, we didn't want to be missing out on a potential purchase because we were messing about trying to transfer money internationally. So we had the money in baht already in a Thai bank, and that really helped us buy this land eventually. The woman who was selling this land, she had some immediate financial issue. It was something like the kids were privately educated. It was a Thai family. They were privately educated. They were in, private schools, and they had money problems, and they had to pay for the school fees pretty quickly. The going rate for land in this area, rural land, and I mean rural land that is not connected to electricity or the government water supply, and that obviously makes a difference. That's going to make it cheaper. But the going rate for that kind of land is around about 100,000 baht per rye. It's still significantly cheaper than what you would pay in different areas, or even in areas closer to the city around here. The difference is the lack of utilities. That's why it's cheaper. So that was the going rate. But because she wanted a quick sale, and I mean she wanted a sale within the next couple of days, from that conversation, we knew the going rate for this plot of land, really the market value was closer to 1.2 million baht. Myself and Anna, we were saying, well, look, maybe she'll take 1 million baht. We knew how much we wanted that land. We knew what we could do with it. It was just basically 12 rye of sugarcane, nothing else. There was no area that was raised up. There was a pond in the far corner. There was no canals built or anything, obviously. It was just sugarcane, but we could see the potential. We could see that it had everything that we wanted in order to build what we've now built. And so we were saying, well, look, maybe she'll accept less than 1 million, maybe we'll be lucky and get it for 900,000 baht. Anyway, she came back to us the next day with a price, and she just said 600,000 baht. And we were like, deal. Okay, let's take it. We did a bank transfer and we did all the paperwork at the local land office in Nong Balampur, and it was ours. So I think it's all good and well looking at estate agents' websites, or again even Facebook Marketplace and these places, because you're going to see a lot of choice of land around. But if you've got a land agent working on behalf of somebody selling some land, they're going to want to sell that land for as much as possible, because they're probably on a commission, a percentage of the sale. I think word of mouth is by far the best with these things. Talking to family members and neighbours and people that you're comfortable with, and if you're in a semi-rural area, somebody will know somebody who's selling some land. It's usually always the case. And then you might be surprised, and as we were, and like I said, we managed to get a bargain, and I'm forever grateful for that. Okay, that's enough talking for me. time for work.
Gotta quickly rush now to make sure there's no leaks. So far so good. Although it's not reached the end yet. Maybe one of these pipes has burst open. Oh, there we go. None of this is a permanent measure just yet. And it's simply because plans change, you know, especially in Thailand when you're building a house. From literally one day to the next, things can change. Now, they might only be small, subtle changes, but those small changes become big ball aches when you've spent 2 days digging a trench and laying pipes and gluing it all, and then suddenly you think, oh well, we want to make a bit of a change with this water tank, or you know what I mean, whatever it might be. So I'm not daft enough to glue this together yet, or certainly to bury it, but eventually that's what will happen. This is where the 2 water tanks will go. They'll be under the roof of the carport, so they'll be protected somewhat from the sun. We specifically built this area for that purpose. There's no point making this pipe work permanent yet. It'd be stupid. Like when I first did this about 6 weeks ago, I did a video about it, and you know, I laid it all in it, sort of got the thing working. And then just about a few weeks after then, we had this whole area topped up with soil, with fresh soil. We got a few trucks worth of soil to redo this and to flatten it out. So obviously if I'd have glued these pipes at that point and also buried them, it would have caused an absolute nightmare. So yeah, that's why all this area is just temporary for now. The task of getting water from point A to point B really interests me. And I know this is an incredibly simple setup. I remember playing in the bath when I was a little kid with like water toys. You know, they were like connecting pipes like this, and there was like a sort of water wheel that, you know, water went through a pipe and it spun the wheel, and real basic kids toys like that. And they had suckers on them, you stuck them on the edge of the bath, and great fun. And I think this harps back to those times in the bath playing with these pipes around the farm. Stupid as it sounds, I absolutely love it. And that's also part of the reason that we've done this thing with the plunge pool. It sort of satisfies my craving for the ability to send water from one place to the next. It sounds crazy, that, doesn't it? But it just really interests me. I have a real simple joy from doing it.